This your boy Red the Guru.
And I'm AD.
What's going on, man? We welcome back. You know, we here. We just gonna dive right into it, man. We're not gonna try to take up too much people's time. You know, we know people got things to do. But we want to just come in and discuss, ideas. A lot of people have a lot of ideas, but they're uncertain what to do with those ideas. Two, a lot of people don't really act on their ideas.
Right.
And kind of just come to give our perspective and our insight on the how do you move forward with your ideas, the do's and the don'ts and the pros and the cons. With just having ideas and how fragile they are.
Right. Yeah, ideas. They could be. They are very fragile.
Mm-hmm.
And they're time sensitive. And you really have to move. You have to act on your ideas quickly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy. That idea can die down.
Real
you
quick.
can lose your momentum, and things can get tricky. So ideas are, like I said, it's time sensitive, and just when you have something and it's a good idea, just act on it. You know what I'm saying?
And I know a lot of times, man, with people with their ideas, it's like a lot. They want to tell everybody their ideas, and they want everybody to pray for their ideas, and they want everybody to kind of give them that kind of encouragement behind their ideas, and they don't realize, like, even some people have that sincerity and they want what's best for them. A lot of times those same people can kind of shoot your ideas down.
Right.
And it's because they want what's best for you and they feel that they know what's best for you. But a lot of times you got to be cautious of who you telling your ideas to. One,
Right.
like you said, they're time sensitive. You got to get to acting on it. And then two, like, watch who you tell your ideas to, because everybody, what's meant for you is not meant for everybody. What might work for you might not work for everybody. And a lot of times some people, you tell people your ideas, you tell them what you want to do, and they'll be like, oh man, that won't work, or oh man, I don't think that, I tried that before.
Right.
And, it'll stop you. And it's a law called the Law of Diminishing Intent that
Right.
says, the longer that you wait to get started on something, that the more likely that you won't actually get started on it.
That's
and it's
right.
real easy, like you were saying, it's real easy that you won't get started on it, by telling people, and they kind of shooting it down, telling you every reason for why it won't work for you.
Right. It's important that you get around people. If you do decide to, be real careful who you share your ideas with, but get around people that's gonna add fuel to your fire.
Help you with your ideas.
It's like we take our ideas to people that's not interested in doing better, that doesn't know anything about what you're trying to do, that's not informed, that's not goal driven, no skin in the game, hasn't made any ideas come to fruition, and then we take it to them, and then they shoot us down, and then we wonder why we can't get shit going, why we can't get the wheels moving. So it's be careful. I mean, you got to be careful, like, who you share your ideas with, and also you have to be careful sharing your ideas too early.
Too early.
But it's certain people that you can go to that can and then to make sure whoever you go to, it's gonna be somebody that's gonna light your fire, not try to put it out.
And I know
Right.
a lot of times, a lot of people have, is one, you already have like low self-confidence in acting on your idea. When you first come up with your idea, you have all these reasons for why it won't work. If you're trying to start a new business,
Right.
a lot of people are already kind of self-doubting themselves, and so they kind of want to go to everybody else to get that, that affirmation or that confirmation from other people that it's a good idea for them to move on it. So
Right.
it's like they just tell everybody just to kind of help build their own confidence up. And then when people they shoot it down, it's even quicker for them to not act on that idea or not, keep moving towards that idea.
Right.
And I remember, when we was in the process of starting a trucking business, new idea, new business venture, we had never been into this business field before, and I ran into an old buddy of mine, his father, who had been in the trucking business. And, I went over there and I just wanted some advice from him. I was like, hey,
Right.
I'm planning on starting this business. I know you've been in the game, 15 plus years. And I just wanted his advice on his take for, any kind of advice he could give me on that business. And his first thing was, that business is going downhill. It's not that much money to be made in that business. Me coming to share my idea with him, thinking I'm going to get some
Right.
advice, or you could do this, or this how you could do this better. He was basically saying it wasn't a good business for me to go into.
Yeah.
Now, by me coming to share my idea with him, and if I was one person who already just wasn't confident in taking that leap of faith on my ideas, that would have been quick for me to say, man, I don't think it's a good idea. He been doing this business 15 years. He got experience in it. And so I don't think it's going to work because he said this. And, you know, I didn't let that stop me. I still went and acted on that idea anyway, and it came out to be, you know, lucrative for me.
Right. I think with that is, you know, you can't let people put their failures on you. You know what I'm saying? And he thought that, you know, he was doing the right thing by, you know, giving you some information about the business, but that's what his experience was in the
business.
You know, his experience was he got in the business, he made money, but then the money wasn't there like that. But that was his, you know, his experience, his idea of what he decided to do with the business. Now, you know, on the flip side, like our ideas and what we were going to do with it was different from his. So he couldn't see the vision. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't see the idea that we had. And that's the thing. Like, everybody isn't going to be able to see your vision.
Exactly.
You know, everybody is not going to be able to see what you see. So if you see something and you got an idea, it's important, you know, that you act on it, because it doesn't mean that person is shooting you down or trying to hate on you or nothing like that. It's just that he can't see what you see.
He don't
you know
have
what
the
I'm
same
saying?
kind of vision.
He don't have that vision. And sometimes with like certain ideas, you know, don't be afraid to look crazy. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid to you know, to be out the box. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's what it takes with brilliant ideas. You know, a lot of the people that had some of the most creative ideas, people thought they were crazy. People looked at them, you know, like, that ain't gonna work. Like, that's stupid. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of creations that came about,
right,
was that way.
So you just have to really don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of failure. Have courage and be confident in what you're trying to do. And if you got a brilliant idea, you know, start the process and try to get it out to the world, to the market, you know, as soon as possible.
And there's so many people that carry on and go through life and never bring their ideas into fruition. It's like they just have all these ideas, and a lot of people don't know which ideas that they should act on and which ideas they should it just came across. And you know, with me, I like, man, what is it that you wanted? If it's an idea and it sits right with you and you have that hunch, you have that urge, and you have that impulse, it's just something that just keep nagging at you, calling at you. It's like these are ideas that you need to start moving on and acting on. Like, a lot of people, you know, I was saying it earlier, you know, people go to social media before they'll have an idea, and they'll go to social media and they'll say, if I did this or if I started this, would you support me? They want to see how many people will support them before they actually move on the idea. And you shouldn't have to wait for you know, this many people to say that they'll support you to move on your idea. Because like you say, if you're a visionary, this is your idea, it's no way that you can get it wrong, because this is something that you bringing out. This is something that's coming from within. And like you were saying earlier, you know, one person, what didn't work for one person don't necessarily mean that won't work for you. And what worked for you might not work for the next person. So I had to keep that in mind. You know, when I'm bringing ideas, I'm bringing, you know, things that I see to certain people, I have to remember, like, just because it didn't work for this person don't necessarily mean it won't work for me.
Exactly.
And a lot of times with ideas, you get your people like, well, where do you get, how do you come up with your creative ideas? Where do you most of your ideas come from things that just didn't work. You saw you tried something and you see the process wasn't working, and you came up, you was like, how could I make this product better? How could I offer this service better? How can I just make a tweak to it to become better? You know, if you're working for somewhere and the level of customer service isn't up to par, you say, man, I love this business industry, but I hate the way that this customer service is. I would offer it this way.
Right.
I can make this tweak, and I would do this like this. These are your ideas. That might be their business idea, and it could be a lot of people say, oh, well, this business or this idea is oversaturated. A whole bunch of people are already doing it. I don't care how many people are doing it. They're not doing it the way that you're doing it. This is your vision. They're not putting it together the way that you're going to put it together. They don't have the ideas. They don't have the vision just like you have it.
Yeah, a lot of people, they you know, they ask like questions like, hey, what should I get into? You know, what kind of business should I open up? You know, and this is in the process of trying to come up with ideas and stuff like that. And so I just want to give the people just something to think about. And this is something that, you know, something that I do, something that, you know, the part of the creative process when I'm coming up with an idea or something, you know. So it's all about, when you just sum it up, it's all about problem solving. Yeah. You know, it's a problem out here. Okay, all right, how can I solve this problem? How can I make this easier? How can I make this faster, quicker, better than what
it already exists?
So if you got a problem, you know, how can I solve the problem? And then you get to thinking, you know, you get into the creative mode and you start thinking of how can I solve this problem? And this is how you create businesses.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you move up. Even if you're employed, this is how you move up in businesses, you know. And this is how you get your ideas and stuff off the ground. It's just like you look at things and you say, okay, how can I solve the problem? And you come up with your own creative idea on how to make things better.
And then you start moving
on it.
And the main, like you say, but being aware, like move on it, the action part of it. A lot of people get stuck in there. And as for you, what do you think was, you know, the best advice you could give for the action part of it? Because it's like, I see what the problem is. I know what the problem is. But then now I'm putting my ideas into actual movement. Like, okay, I need to start doing this, that. As for you, what did you do just to break? A lot of people have fear. Right. It's like the fear of starting this business, or the fear of moving out of town, or the fear of, like, they have ideas to do different things. But it's like, what if the first thing that comes to mind is, what if this doesn't work? Or they have 10 reasons for why it won't work. Or what if, rather than just saying, what's the 10 reasons why it will?
See, with me, it's like, you know, I'm Jimmy John's fast.
I'm going to act on it.
Yeah, because I know, because see, the thing is, the faster you make a move, right,
mm-hmm.
you know, it gives you don't have the time for doubt and stuff to kick in. You know what I mean? So if I got an idea and I say, okay, I got an idea to start this business, right, and then I get up. And you know, if it's a good idea, now everybody, I mean, but I can't really tell you what to do. But you know what I mean. But for me, you know, if I have an idea, I act on it quick. And the first thing I do, like if I come up with an idea, I write it down. And then I would say, okay, what is the first step that I need to take,
mm-hmm.
or what step am I able to take right now, just me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I have an idea, if I'm sitting here thinking of an idea, and you know, it may be a huge idea, it may be something big, so I say, okay, what can I do right now
that can move
to some that I could take? What action can I take right now for this particular idea? So then I say, okay, well, hell, let me get a notepad, let me write it down.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's action. You know what I'm saying?
You're
starting the process
of it.
So I wrote it down, so now it's on paper. Now I can read the idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Before it was in my head. I took it from my head and I transferred it on paper. Now, the next step, you can say, okay, now what can I do? Okay, then you sit down and you think. Now you got the idea on paper that you can read. Now you can say, okay, what are the steps I need to take to get things moving? Do I need to make a phone call? Do I need to get a LLC? Do I need to go out and look at some places? Do I need to go communicate with somebody? Like, what do I need to do? And then you just take that step. And then once you finish that step, what's the next step? And you just take and you keep going. It may take, some ideas may take 10, 20 years. Some ideas may take 10 months. Some ideas may take 2-3 weeks to get going.
Lay the first brick and just get started.
That's it. Simple.
And that's what, like, I'm a fan of that too. Like, just get started, because once you have that idea and you start making that movement, it's harder for you to go back on it. Like, if you want to invest into a business, or you want to start a business, and then you go get that LLC, once you get that LLC, it's kind of almost like, all right, I done invested money in this LLC, so I got to keep the process going.
Right.
It's less likely for you to go back on your word. But if it's just stuck in your mind, and like you said, you hadn't even put it down on paper yet, and it's just stuck in your mind, it's easier for you just to, because then something else will happen, and life moves so fast. It's like other ideas that come about, other things that you got to do come into play, and you never actually get started on those ideas. You never make movement on it. And you look up, a year go by, 2 years go by, and with ideas, it's not necessarily even just business either. These ideas can be, it might be an idea to move out of town. Mm-hmm. You might be sitting back and just be like, man, I need to make money. And that move out of town might be what you need for a fresh start in order for you to elevate and move to that next level of life.
Right.
You might have an idea like, you know, I want to be, you know, a better relationship. I need to leave the relationship I'm in. I've been in this relationship too long. I've been unhappy. But you never really act on that idea because of the fear. It stems from fear when most people don't put that action into place. It's like, what are you afraid of? Mm-hmm. What is there to be afraid of? You're afraid that it might not go your way. You're afraid that other people might not approve of whatever it is that we give so much care to what other people are thinking about. But if I'm here to solve problems, you can't get it wrong. If I sit back and was like, how can I solve these people's problem? How can I make this easier, bigger, faster, whatever it is for people, you can't get it wrong. Like, and quit worrying about everybody else's opinion of what your idea is. This is your idea. This is your opinion. March to the beat of your own drum.
Right.
You know, like.
And if you do, even if you do get it wrong, so
It's
what?
a lesson. It's a learning
Right.
lesson.
It's a lesson. So don't be afraid to fail. But if you're gonna fall, are you gonna fall forward? Like just keep moving forward. Like, but don't be afraid to fail. Like don't take fear out of the equation. Like when you start thinking about fear, just what I tell a lot of people is that, and how I deal with fear is through action. Like if I'm scared of something, or if I feel fearful of anything, I just go face it quick. You know what I'm saying?
Face your fears.
Face the fear. Let's get it over with.
So what about, I know a lot of people talk to me about, like, say if they have an idea to leave a job. They've been at a job for X amount of time, and
Right.
they know in their heart that they're unhappy at this job, but they've been here so long, whether it's the benefits, whatever the case is, it's like, man, I have an idea. I want to go do this. I want to take a leap of faith and go try this. But if I do it and it doesn't work and I done left my job,
Right.
then what?
It's
You
like,
know,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just saying, like, when that comes, it's like, would you want to live 30 years, the next 30 years of your life working at this job that you unhappy at? Like, how is that really how you want to spend your life? Like,
Right.
if you get up every day and you go put 10 to 12 hours, 8, 10, 12 hours in at a job that you unhappy at, but you know in your heart you've been waiting to leave, and you're going to go in week after week, year after year, doing the same thing, being unhappy. That's not how you want to spend your life, and you definitely don't want to be 70 years old looking back with regret.
Right.
Talking about, man, I had this idea. I should have started that business. I should have moved out of town. I should have left that relationship. I should have, all these I should have. One thing I always told myself is I don't want to look back and be stuck in an I should have state of mindset.
Right.
I acted on every idea. I'd rather look back and say, man, I tried it. It didn't work, or it didn't go as I planned
Yeah.
for it, but I tried it. I learned from it, and it propelled me to something else.
Right.
But it's like, if you keep living your life just under a shell, under a rock, repeating yesterday, never moving on new ideas, the freshness, it's worn out idea. I mean, it's worn out lifestyle. You're doing the same thing that you've been doing over and over, repeating it.
Yeah, I feel like if you trying to leave a job, or if you're unhappy at a job, right, and you say I need to make a move, right, you got this idea of leaving. So then it's a fine line of moving strategic, and then it's a
Just quitting.
just quitting, just stepping out on with a leap of faith. So, and it's always good to have faith in yourself, but at the end of the day, you still with that you got to kind of be careful, because you need. Now with that, I would advise you to move strategic, but I would advise you to move. You see what I'm saying? But move strategic, and see those moves could be made while you still working. And the thing is, it ain't about like burning people. It's not about I just quit
Because I don't wanna be here.
I'm leaving. Like
You
I
can
hate
move in a
my
good way.
job. Yeah, but you can start moving, but you can move the right way. You can still, because whatever you do, you want to give it your 100% effort, or don't do it at all. So you could still, even if the job wasn't that good to you or whatever, still move right and try not to burn the bridge. But as long as you're moving, as long as you're acting, then you're good. So a lot of people they say, well, I got a business idea, then they just don't show up to work no more. They don't communicate with the boss. They don't
live on terrible terms.
Right. And I say, and you already putting yourself in a bad position, because now you already
You burn bridges.
you burning bridges. So now you got that to deal with on top of you trying to do something positive. You trying to develop a business or
But
something
you
like
left
that.
on bad terms and bad
Yeah.
energy with the
You
people
did.
that you left from.
Right.
They took care of you.
Yeah, took care of you all these years. Now you like, okay, now I got a business idea. So go, whatever. I'm done with y'all. I don't give a shit what y'all do.
I'm gonna go start this business.
Yeah, I'm gonna go do this, and I'm gonna leave on bad. No, you don't have to do it like that. Just communicate, and just start being active. You know what I'm saying? And just communicate and leave on good terms, because the same people that you left from, it may be a business that you're starting that's maybe similar to the one you was at.
And that they can give you advice on.
Right.
And we've had that within business, where we had people that was working for us, and they left on good terms to go do a similar business, do this exact same kind of business, but they left on such good terms that you could come. I don't mind giving you advice. I don't mind telling you, hey, you could call this person for this. You need to talk to this person for that, because they left on good terms with me. But if you just quit and you just left us high and dry, then it was like, nah, I'm not willing to help you give you the information. And that's one thing that people don't really understand and taking the heed. And a lot of times I tell people, you don't have to just quit your job. to start your idea. You can start your idea while you're still at your job.
Right.
If you're still at your job and you have this business idea, just start the process. Start getting it. And you're after. What are you doing when you get off work? You go do 10 hours at work. Well, when you get home, are you acting on those ideas? Or are you just allowing those ideas just to stay in your mind like, well, I'm still at this 9 to 5, da-da-da-da. Like, no, you come home, start putting those ideas to action. And then even if you start your idea on a part-time basis outside of your 9 to 5, that's still the process. And then when that part-time start making more money than your full-time, then you can move rather than just quitting all at once, or just leaving them, without like a 2-week notice or something like that. But I am a fan of acting on your ideas and don't stay stuck somewhere that you're unhappy at. Don't let 10 years go by being unhappy at a job, in a relationship, whatever it is. If you're unhappy in it, that means to be unhappy in something means that you created an idea of desire of something that you want more. And that's all ambition really is. The idea of I want more. I'm unhappy or I don't like where I'm at right now. Or there's a change or a tweak that I can move to something for it to become more.
Right.
That's what you have to start acting on. Okay, I'm unhappy here. So what will make me happy? This isn't working for me now, but what would make me happy? What? And then start moving to bring that into fruition.
Yeah, it's important because what like people think I'm gonna stop working my job and then I'm just going to entrepreneurship or start a business and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna have a business. I'm not gonna have to work.
I'm gonna be a bit
right. And it's like that's not the case.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And it's important that you do something that you actually enjoy doing, because like when you go into a business, that's gonna take up a lot of your time. But it's not gonna be work if you enjoy doing it.
If you're passionate,
right? So it's times where you'll be working from morning to night. You know what I'm saying? Your phone is always available because your manager may finish up, but then they may have a question for you at 8 o'clock at night, and you need to pick that phone up. You know what I'm saying? So you always gonna be working. It's more hours when you own your own business, but if you're doing something that you love, then it's not really work, and then you're able to really move how you want to move. But don't think that it's,
That's what a lot of people don't understand. They think when you go into entrepreneur, you move on this idea and we're in an age of entrepreneurship where everybody wants to work for themselves. Nobody want to work for somebody else. And that's perfectly fine. But don't think going into entrepreneurship means less work.
Yeah.
It means I don't have to do nothing. I get to go on vacation when I want to go on vacation, kick my feet up, money going to be coming in. Everybody going to be doing the work for. It's more work when you become an entrepreneur. Like you said, it might be 8 o'clock. You might be kicking it with your family. And then your manager, supervisor, somebody might have a problem that you got to come answer. It might be 3, 4 in the morning. You have somebody that called in and they can't show up and you got to come in and fill in their place. Like entrepreneur, like be ready to deal with everything that comes with that as well. Like sometimes people desire these things and then when they get it, they be like, okay, maybe this wasn't for me. Maybe I did. Like just, it is more work.
Yeah,
but the thing is, like you said, when you're passionate about something and it's your own vision, then it don't matter because you don't look at it as work. You look at it like I enjoy doing this. And like you were saying, when people come at me and they're asking like what kind of ideas or what would I suggest as far as with business ideas, it's like, what are you passionate about? I can't tell you what I would think would be a good business for you because it's multiple businesses that might be the same, and this company might be a multi-million-dollar business, and this company might not, might have went bankrupt, or this company might do well and this one not, but they're in the same field. So it's like what's meant for me might not be meant for you. I can't tell you because I have a different vision, I have a different passion. So I might go out and I might put 15 hours in, and it might not feel like nothing to me. You might go try to put that same amount of time in and you feel like it's a struggle. You feel like it's hard work. Oh man, it's too hard. And that's because it might not be for you. But when you find something that you genuinely enjoy doing and you genuinely passionate about, you're not keeping time up with it. If you go to your job and you're looking at the clock every 30 minutes, you ready to get up out of there, you putting how much time that you here, you're not enjoying your work. You can't wait to get off. But when you indulge in something on an idea that's yours and it comes from a place of passion that you enjoy doing, you're not looking at the clock every 30 minutes trying to figure out how much time you put into it. You're just doing it until the job gets done. You're doing it until the idea you moving towards that idea, and you just, how much can I knock out today towards this idea?
Right. I feel like right now we're in a time of change, and this is just my advice for people. Just in general, and I take this advice too. This is for me too, but right now we're everything is changing, right? So if you're developing an idea, it's important right now to really look into the future, you know what I'm saying, and just see where we're headed, because a lot of the things that people are going to school for, these things are going to be obsolete.
Yep.
A lot of jobs that we have right now, these things are going to be obsolete. Like, it's going to be somebody else taking the place of these jobs. So but it's opportunity in it. But you just got to look at, okay, what's going on, what's transpiring right now, like what is
What's
going on
happening
in the
in the world?
economy, what's happening in the world. How can I the idea that so the thought process was, well, how can I be a solution to some of these problems?
That's going
right?
on.
How can I engage in some of this stuff? How can I be a help? And then look at it like that, because at the end of the day, when you look at Steve Jobs with Apple, right? Like he started this,
Years ago.
yeah, like decades ago, and his idea is is just really, he'll be about, how would he be, about 60, 70 years old right now? But his idea is really just starting to really take off
to
the next level. You know what I'm saying? And this was his idea: the phones, the tablets, the computers, and all this different stuff. Like this was his idea. So like now it's like it's at his stages where it's elevating crazy. Same with like Tesla,
when you
and
bring
all
those
these different
ideas, other people will take your idea as their own vision and blow your idea up sometimes
Right.
bigger than you probably imagined when you first started. But he got started on it, and
Right.
even now that he's like Steve Jobs, gone, it's like his idea is still growing.
Yeah, it's
based
gonna
off something
be
that-
here for generations, and it's important that we look at things. We look into the future, because we're coming up with ideas, and people, I try to listen to ideas, and I try not to be biased. I try not to voice how I feel about it, because I don't like to shut down anybody's idea. I feel like that's your vision. I support it regardless. But at the end of the day, we just need to start thinking about things in the future. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going backwards and like, hey, how
what used to work.
what used to work, because those things may
Might
not
not
be
work.
here in the future. It may not work, so then you'll be left behind. So start looking at things like, how can I solve a problem 10 years from now? How can I solve a problem 5 years from now? Like, what's happening right now? Let me create a business that's gonna
Help make
be,
change.
it's gonna be around for the next 20, 30 years. Not something that's about to be around for the next 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people, their ideas mostly come from what's popping right now, what's hot right now, what's trendy right now.
What's trendy.
This is what's trending right now. This is what everybody's getting into. And I saw so and so do it, and so and so is making X amount of dollars. They live in a lavish lifestyle, So I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try to imitate this. And a lot of people's ideas aren't coming from a place of what do I genuinely want to do. And I like when you said, ask the question, how can I be a help? How can I be a ideas need to come from a place of how can I be a service to other people.
Right.
How can I be a service? How can I be a help to other people? A lot of people their ideas are coming from how can I help self? What's in it for me? How much money can I make out of this? How much, like, you just thinking about self when you're going into with these ideas, but a lot of these ideas needs to come from a place of how can I be a service to other people? How can I help other people? How can I solve other people's problems?
Right.
Now when you start thinking how can I serve other people, because if you can help serve other people, you'll forever be taken care of. But if it's just what's in it for me, how much money can I make? I'm gonna do this because it's gonna pay me this much money. I'm gonna do this. Now you're just chasing the money. You're not really chasing the idea. You're not chasing the vision anymore. And a lot of people have that problem where they, even when you're going to school, some people are like, okay, I'm gonna go to college for this. They base their idea of what they're going to school for based on how much this career pays. How much does this make? This makes $100,000 a year. This makes $75,000. Okay, I'm gonna do this because it pays well.
Right.
Yeah, we all want to make a lot of money, but we all want to be happy making a lot of money. What good does it do to have get in this business or get in this field or move on this idea for the money if you're not genuinely happy?
Right.
Like if you're unhappy with it because it pays a lot, and you see that a lot of times. A lot of people moved on ideas based on the money and not based on the vision, and then they're unhappy doing it. It's like, yeah, it pays well, but they're unhappy. That's like your peace of mind is I want peace of mind while I'm moving on my ideas as well.
Yeah, and peace of mind, that's priceless.
You can't pay for that. So when y'all making, when people are making their idea, or they're coming up with their ideas, or they want to move on their ideas, and you're sitting back and you're reflecting on your ideas, in your personal time, ask yourself, is this idea going to service other people? Who else is going to benefit from this idea?
Right.
That's when we came up with this podcast, and I posted it when we first started, from when it was, everything was empty and we didn't have nothing. It was just like, this is the beginning stages of it. But it was like, is this going to help other people? This idea is it going to service other people? Which it is, to be able to give perspectives and give information on different avenues of life. Like, this was an idea that we brought into fruition based on, is it going to be able to service and help other people?
Right. And the thing is, even like with starting a podcast, with what we did, we acted every day, quick. Like any action that we could take, we took it. And to get this moving, we had to pay money, time, creativity. We had to have the vision, the idea. You see what I'm saying? We had to have all of that, and then we didn't give. Now think about it. If we would have been sitting around and we would have had the idea, we never wrote it down, we never thought about it, and
it would have just been an idea.
It would have just been an idea, but we took action, and now the fear is gone because it's like, okay, damn, like do we know anything about podcasts? Do we know it? No, now the fear is gone because now we're doing it. So now it's like, okay, well, it's done already. So what is it to be scared about now?
You done lost that fear now once you start acting.
You only scared of the unknown. So, like fear, false events appearing real. So you only scared of what you don't know. Now that we see, like, okay, we're on the podcast, we're talking in front of the cameras, we're talking in front of the mics. Yeah, it's cool. So now the fear is like what is it to be scared about now?
And had we never acted on our idea, how many people that we reached using this podcast would have not heard this information? Would not have. The only thing you get is just the memes and the posts from Instagram and stuff like that. But how many people have been able to learn a different perspective or take more information and knowledge based on us putting this together, based on us putting these ideas? Like, we didn't just sit on the idea. No, we put it together, and like you say, as soon as we came up with it, we start buying stuff. We start clearing stuff out, and we just start moving. Because we said we know once you start putting some movement towards it, that means you got to go all the way through with it. Right. And I like when you said, like, false evidence appearing real. The fear, when you're in that place of uncertainty because you don't know what the future holds, or you don't know what will happen, that's when you're in your best creative mode. That's when you're in your best creativity, because it's a space of the unknown. If you already know how it's going to play out, how it's going to go, that means you already done it before. That means you're repeating it yesterday again. Right. But when you don't know what's to hold, what's coming, that means you're creating from a fresh space. And that there should excite you and kind of help wipe that fear out or deal with the fear. When that fear come in and it set in and you like, but I don't know if it's going to work out for me. This is my last dollar. These are my last, savings. I don't want to spend my savings on this, and then it don't work. It don't go well. Like, my thing with that is, like, whatever you did to stack that money up to invest in the first place, you can do it again. You stacked it up to invest it for a reason. Why not invest it in yourself? The best person that you can invest in is yourself. Right. Why else, when you go to work or when you do certain things, you are doing these are other people's ideas. These are other people's visions that you're helping manifest. Why not invest into yourself and move on you move on somebody else's idea? Right. If you get up and you go to work every day, you moving on somebody else. This their idea. This their vision. You helping them manifest their vision. So so when I'm dealing with fear, these are things that I'm talking about in my own head. I'm like, if you can help somebody else manifest their vision, why wouldn't you want to help your own self manifest yours? Because you don't know what's their lie ahead in it. Right. Well, I'm in my creative mode now, and I get to create now, and I get to just watch it unfold, and that's the part of the journey, just to watch your ideas unfold, idea after idea, vision by vision, desire after desire, goal after goal, just watching it unfold, and like, man, and then you sit back, and that's when you sit back and you talk about, like, the beginning stages of your idea. Man, I remember when. And then people, when they make it, they go back and they talk about the process. They always talk about the process of their idea. Man, I had this idea, and then I did this, and I went through this, and I went through that, and they talk about the unfolding of it. Right. And that's what you want to do. But enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, and start the movement on the process. Yeah, that's important. Just get that movement, so you won't have to worry about that fear. Don't get, because if fear, like they say, the idle mind, is dangerous. But see, when you at idle, that fear is easy to set in, man. And then it's, you don't want to dig yourself too far deep in thought and being in fear, because you'll never get that idea out. You'll never get it out. You know what I'm saying? And then the longer you wait, the idea just starts to die and die. Fade. And it's all. And I always, my advice to, anybody, everybody is to, when the idea, this is how you know you got you a pretty good idea. When that idea just never fades. It keeps coming back.
It keeps coming. Like, you think about it. You dream about it. You wake up thinking about it.
And it just keep popping back up.
It keep popping up, You at dinner, it pops up. You on vacation, it pops up, right? So when it's doing that to you, that means you gotta. That's a good idea. That means you need to. That's something that you really need to act on. 'Cause it's some ideas that I had from years ago, and those ideas are still there. You know what I'm saying? They still pop up.
So you know what I'm saying? It's an idea that you need to act on.
That I need to act on, and it hasn't manifest yet, but I know it is. But at the end of the day, Like those ideas, that means it's something that you really need to.
And I think a lot of times with that fear, the fear really comes just from lack of confidence in the field that whatever your idea is. You just lack the confidence. You don't really have the confidence, and the lack of confidence comes from the lack of knowledge. You just don't have all the knowledge about this. You don't have all the information about that idea yet, and so it creates that level of fear. Because if you had the confidence and you had the knowledge about it, then you wouldn't have no fear, because you basically would know what you were doing.
Right.
But going into a new idea that you haven't really experienced before, you feel that fear, and it's, you just need that confidence. You need that faith. Like, if you look back at your life, you say, man, it's always worked itself out for me.
Right.
Even when things it might have been, went left and it just didn't work out, I learned from it and it ended up working itself out in the long run. Like, that's things that you got to talk yourself into. You got to build yourself up in your mind. Like, nah, this gonna work out for me. It always work out for me. I don't know about it now, but it's just gonna take some practice. It's gonna take some research. It's gonna take me learning this business or this, whatever it is I want to do, for it to work in my favor.
And if your first idea doesn't work out, you still got experience. You went after this idea, so the next time the next idea pops up, right, you're gonna know what to do different. Okay, what did I do wrong, or why didn't this idea manifest, right? But you have the experience of going after it, and then if the idea just so happens to you able to manifest this idea, then the next time you got another idea, now you have the courage,
and confidence
to go after and say, okay, well, shit, I know I did this, so now I know that I can do. If I could do this, that means for sure I can manifest this next one. You know what I'm saying? So it's important. So either way, you really can't lose either way. So it's important to just, if you have something that you're really passionate about and you want to get out to the people, go for it. You know what I'm saying?
And one thing that I want to add with that is, try to fall in love with the journey of manifesting that idea rather than the results. So many people are so excuse me. So many people are attached to the results. They want to see the fruits of the labor. Well, what if this? They want to know exactly how it's going to happen, exactly how it's going to work out, exactly what they're going to get. They want the rewards already. It's like, just enjoy, go after the idea and just enjoy the journey, and then allow the results to manifest themselves. Don't get so caught up and don't have so much attachment to everything. Right. Some people won't act on an idea because they attach. If it's a relationship, they may be attached to in that relationship. If they're at a job, they're attached to this job. They have certain attachments to certain things that's prohibiting them from leaving to go start something new. The freshness is like, I'm attached to this car. I'm attached to this city that I've been living in, Houston, all my life. And, I want to move and go live here and start this business here, but I'm too scared because I'm attached to this city. I've been here all my life. A lot of times, those great ideas take you getting out of your comfort zone. That's all it is. You're comfortable in this city. You're comfortable in this relationship. You're comfortable at that job. You have to get uncomfortable in order to, if you want to evolve and you want to elevate from out of the level that you're at the level that you're at for a reason, whatever level that may be. And it switch from person to person, but you're there because you're comfortable at that level. As you move to the next level and you evolve and go up, it's going to get uncomfortable because you haven't mastered this level yet. You're not sure how to run this level yet. But you learn that level and then you master that level, and that's all life is. Just as you're moving up, getting uncomfortable, get out of your comfort zone. When you act on a new idea, it's getting yourself out of that comfort zone, and then surrounding yourself with people who help you with that.
Yeah, it's important because, see, like with us, like, it's not like I'm real careful. Like, if he comes and brings me an idea,
be careful how you.
Well, see, like, whatever you bring to me, I'm gonna be like, go for it, because, like, at the moment I may not be able to see what you see.
The vision right there.
Right. So I'm not gonna tell you,
nah,
that's a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? Because, and that you got to be careful. You need people like that around you that's not gonna just shit on your idea when you bring it to them, whether it's good or bad. If it's bad, from your perspective, it may be bad.
People will shit on your idea real quick without doing no research. As soon as you bring it to them, they be quick to shoot that idea down.
Yeah, and I'm the way my mind is like, go for it. Like, all right, what? Okay, look, hey, I got this idea. Okay, bet, go for it. Like, okay, yeah, like, move on it. You know what I'm saying? And now if it's just very, very, very bad, I may be like, hey, hold up now. But,
I give my honest opinion on what. If you want my opinion on it, like, then I'll give you my honest opinion on how I feel about it. But then at the end of it, it'll be like, but this is your idea, and you make sure you're not just shooting them down where they won't even go act on it.
If it's something that you don't shoot nothing down that you can't understand.
Yeah.
Now, if you clearly understand that, hey man, you know what I'm saying. But if it's something that you can't see, or you don't understand, then don't shoot it down. You know what I'm saying? Like let him or whoever, like let them go through with it. You know what I'm saying? And
I don't mean to cut you. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good.
I had that instance in the first business that I went into. A buddy of mine back in the day, you know, I brought him my first business idea. He had been in the business for some years already. He didn't own the business. He was just working within the business.
Right.
And so I brought him an idea. I saw I had, how can I make this business better? And I saw the vision of it, and I brought it to him. I was like, hey, you know, I know you in this business. We should go create our own, and we can make some tweaks to it like this. And he really shot it down. He was just like, this business is going down. There's not no money in this business. It's just, I don't see it. And that was a buddy of mine that we were real close. And so it was like, for him to shoot down that idea, I could easily, like, if I didn't have the mind frame, like the strong mind frame that I had, I could easily just been like, all right, well, he been in this business, or he been dealing with this business longer than I have, and he's saying that it's going downhill. I shouldn't even act on this idea. But I still went and acted on that idea, and it turned around and became very lucrative for me. And because it was a vision that I had that came from my heart, like that came from my passion. So maybe he didn't have the same, like you were saying, sometimes he didn't have the same vision. He couldn't see it. He just saw it from his standpoint, which was, it's not money in this. But he didn't see the full picture. He didn't see it how I saw it. Right. And so, you know, he shot it down, and he didn't shoot it down in a negative. He just like, you know, he just didn't believe in it. Right. You know, I had to still be like, okay, well, just because you didn't believe in it don't mean I'm not going to act on it. I still had to continue to move. Okay.
Yeah, just because somebody don't believe in it doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
Exactly.
It's just they can't see it. And it's not a bad thing, you know, like even the people that shoot it down, it's not a bad thing. They can't see it. So you can't really be mad at them for something that they can't see. You know, they just.
But don't let it affect you either.
Don't let it exactly
or prohibit, stop you from moving on your action.
Right. Because it's people, man, that they. It's crazy, man. They'll say some things that to put your fire out, man. You really have to be strong-minded. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, and stand firm on what you're trying to do.
And sometimes those people, it could be your parents, it could be close friends, it could be your relatives, and a lot of times those are the people. And it's not coming from a place of hate. It's not coming from. Sometimes it comes from a place of sincerity. Right. They genuinely mean well, and they genuinely want what's best for you. But sometimes everybody don't know what's best for you. Certain things, you know, like with my mother, she wanted me to go to college and finish college. My sisters finished college, and she was, you know, go to college and go finish college. College, you know, I dropped out. It just wasn't for me. Like, and she couldn't understand it. Oh, well, you know, because people thought that if you don't go to college, you couldn't do. Mine was entrepreneurship, but if I would have acted on what I thought my mom thought what was best for me, everybody said, okay, you're supposed to go to school, graduate, go to college, get a degree, go work for somebody. That wasn't what was aligned for me. Entrepreneurship was meant for me, but I had to move on my own beat. What I thought, some people they'll go to college or go to school because their parents want that for them. Right. Some people will go work at this job because their parents are in this line of business and they want this for their kids and they want to do it because this is what their parents want for them. Like, you got to sit down and ask yourself, what do I want for me? This is my life. At the end of the day, my parents don't got to live this life. Your kids don't have to live this life. Your significant other don't have to live this life. You got to live this life for you. So you got to move on your own ideas, and you the only one that know what's really best for you, because it sits within, and it's going to keep on bothering you and going to keep on bugging you until you move on your own drum. Like you were saying, like, this is something that I want to do. I'm passionate about, so I'm moving on this for me. Right. You know,
like with my kids, it's like, and just with everybody, like we need to just educate our kids to make choices. You know what I'm saying? Don't force nothing on them, but just educate them and just give them the knowledge so that they can act on whatever they want to act. But when my kids come to me, you know, I've been preaching to my kids for a long time, you know, since they was little. I always give them information, like, since they was little kids, and they would, you know, they can have a adult conversation on a different level, because I've been giving them the information. Right. I've been, you know, preaching to them. And so when they come at me with an idea, I never shoot it down. I'm always open. I'm like, all right.
Enhance the idea.
Right. I'm like, okay, well, this is what you want, you know, but they come in and make sense. I be like, okay, but I don't shoot it down. But I just educate them on what to do, what's lucrative, how to do things, how to manifest an idea, how to bring stuff to the marketplace, business and stuff like that, marketing. I give them all the information, and then I give them the pros and cons. Like, hey, Do you want to be working a 9 to 5 as your first job, or do you want to be in business?
Mm-hmm.
You could do either one, but let me give you the pros and cons. You work at a 9 to 5, you got to rock to the drum of whoever beats that run that business. You create your own. You able to do what you want to do. You able to make as much money as you want to make.
Mm-hmm.
You able to get as much as you desire to get. You just gonna have to work for it. You gonna have to push, but but you can do either one. But I'm gonna just let you know, you want to be a boss or do you want to go to work for your first job? And I always tell them, I say, well, how you start, and how you start is usually how you finish, unless you break the cycle.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's better to start off on the right path,
whichever way that you decide.
So you could just keep building, right? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people I see it a lot of times where we get stuck we start our first job and then we end up stuck in this field. We look up, it's 10, 15 years. You done got so comfortable here. Yeah. So then it takes a lot of willpower and a strong mind to break that cycle. You know what I'm saying? So it's harder to break a habit rather than just creating a good habit
from the beginning. And that's the same thing when I teach my kids, I tell them all the time, especially my 14-year-old, I say, this is your life. I can't live your life for you. I can only give you the information. I could give you the knowledge. I could teach you, but you got to make your own decisions in life. Right. And I'm okay. I don't want to never force him to do something that I feel like just because entrepreneurship was for me might not be entrepreneur for him. And I'm never against a 9 to 5 either. It's like, if that's what you choose to do, just be passionate about whatever it is you choose to do. And I think that was the best thing I was taught. Like, if you're going to do something, give it y'all. Don't half-ass do something. Be passionate about whatever it is that you choose to do. If you go work at McDonald's, be the best McDonald's working that you go be. If you gonna work wherever it is that you gonna do and you put your time in, be the best at it. And that's what I teach him. I'm like, you make the decision what you want to do, but I do the same thing. This is what it is working a 9 to 5. These are the same, like you said, these are the pros and cons, and these are the pros and cons to entrepreneurship. And then allow him, as he moving through his life, to make his choices, make his decisions, and he has the information, he has the knowledge. So if he goes this way and he choose, he'll at least know, like, okay, this, my dad did tell me X, Y, Z about it.
Right. I tell them about, I tell my kids, I say, look.
About college.
You don't have to go to college.
if you don't want to.
If you don't want to, you don't have to go to college. And then I let them know, I explain to them about college debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, student loan debt is the only debt that can't be forgiven. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's the same like you borrowing against your taxes. Like,
they can still be calling me.
Right. They can just come get you. They can come garnish stuff. They can get you for their student loans. Yeah. It never goes away. You can't file bankruptcy. You can't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? So I tell them, I'm like, I would prefer, you going to go start a business, right? Say you go to college and you're trying to
get that loan in college, all that money that you got to pay back, you might as well start that business.
Yeah, you go get a loan, and it's like, all right, I got to go. I get $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever to go to college, right? Student loans. Now this loan can't be forgiven at all, right? I would rather you build your credit, go pull that same $100,000 on a business loan, and give that a shot, because at the end of the day, you could file bankruptcy on that loan.
If that business don't work.
Yeah, if it don't work, that loan, you could file bankruptcy. That loan can be forgiven, right? So think about it. And and you could do that multiple times, but you're going to go to college, go sign all this paperwork, be $150,000, $200,000 in debt for something that they can come after you for the rest of your life
to make sure that you pay it back.
Right. Yeah. And then it prohibits you from buying property. They can come after your property. They can come after your possessions, all that stuff. I would rather you go gamble on yourself, your idea, your vision, than going to go try to, do something like that. And then it's like the time we living in right now, it's so many courses and educational programs that you can take to learn information. You know what I'm saying? To learn how to do something. So you really don't.
That's one thing I said. It don't matter what job you go work at, where you go work at, they're going to train you. They're going to teach you. And I'm not saying don't go to college or against college either, but it's like you were saying, college is not the only way that you have to go in order to make some money. You go get trades, and you go learn skills, or you go entrepreneurship, like you say, invest in yourself. It's a whole bunch of different ways to go about. Right. But I wanted to ask, because I know a lot of times people ask themselves, okay, how do you know what's a good idea and what's a bad idea? And that's what a lot of times, maybe it's not fear. Maybe it's just like, I have 10 different ideas. I have ideas come to me all day. How do I know which ideas are a good idea and which ideas are a bad idea? You should do this or you shouldn't do that. Like, because if I do this and then I waste even if you say like college, should I go to college or shouldn't I go, or should I go to entrepreneur? And some people will be like, well, if I try entrepreneur and 2-3 years go by and then it didn't work out, then I'm like, okay, well, I should have went to college, but now I'm 21, 22 years old, just trying to go start college. So what do you say as far as like when people have these, like, what's a good idea and what's a bad idea? Which one should I act on? That I won't regret.
It's really, I mean, you really can't say what's a good idea. It's really whatever works best for you.
Feel. I say what you feel. Like,
yeah, what you feel, but whatever works best for you, because college may be a good idea for an individual, but then for me, it may be a terrible idea. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Know yourself.
A business may be a terrible idea for somebody else because they're not equipped to handle it, right? But business for me is a great idea. It's very lucrative. So it's just like you got to really just get in tune with yourself. And I think before you start making these decisions and trying to act on these ideas, start investing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Start investing in yourself and learn who you are. Learn what you're capable of doing.
What you like and what you don't like.
Right. Because then you're gonna know, okay, if I do this, I can do this. And then you got to just evaluate yourself. All right. What am I capable of doing? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And then develop your idea based off of that. Don't just go off of you just sitting around and you just throwing shit out there and you just like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just
a lot of people do that as well too. They just jump into different businesses. They all over the place.
Right.
They just I'm over here. They never really doing no research or trying to learn the business before they get into it. It's just kind of like they jump into it and they try to freestyle. It's like you said, do your research, do your due diligence before you start a business. Don't just jump into anything or move on idea without kind of gathering information about the business and learning, the pros and cons about the business.
Yeah, it was a gentleman. I can't remember where I heard it from, but a gentleman asked Warren Buffett a question, like, what was the best investment that he made? Now you talking about Warren Buffett? This guy done bought Coca-Cola. He done invest in the airlines, insurance. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying?
A big investor.
He said, "What's the best investment that you ever made?" And he said, "In myself."
Myself. Big facts.
So you talking about a guy that make billions of dollars off investing, and he said the greatest investment that he ever made was in himself. So everybody needs to really pay attention to that and look at that. You know what I'm saying? If you looking at a multi-billionaire that made billions and billions, built this whole portfolio off of investments, and he's saying that the best investment that he ever made was in himself.
What does that tell you? You need to be doing invest in yourself.
Invest in yourself.
And a lot of people hear that and they say, I'm investing in myself. And a lot that's like the talk, like I'm investing in me. I'm about me now. But then they don't really do it or don't really move on it or don't really take it.
Well, they don't understand. See, what he did, he invested in himself. He bought a program. He went and he paid money to visit Carnegie. You know what I'm saying? He went, he got involved. He invested in himself. He got knowledge.
Starts surrounding himself. He read 4 hours a day.
Right. Yeah, he do.
They say he read 4 hours a day, but that's just a form of, like you say, investing in yourself, developing that knowledge, getting that knowledge.
Yeah, get to know yourself, because then you'll start knowing how powerful you really are. Then when you learn that, then you'll know that you're capable of doing anything. And then when you know that you're capable of doing anything,
beat that fear. You
beat the fear, and then it's way easier to manifest your ideas, bring your ideas into fruition. So invest in yourself. Like if you having trouble trying to figure out a good idea, bad idea, all right, the first idea you need to have is to invest in yourself. Start there. And then, because
know yourself.
Like for me, when I started investing in myself and I started reading books, changing my diet, getting some sleep, going to seminars, buying programs,
that's what they're
reading books,
investing in yourself.
The
stuff that you was doing there is me investing in myself. I'm
investing in myself, grabbing audio programs, reading and just learning information. All of this is going into me. All this information is going in myself. I'm investing in myself. So the moment that I start doing that is when ideas start to pop up. I start to get more creative. Things start just start flowing, and ideas start popping up in my head. And it was like, oh shit, I got an idea. Oh, okay. Things started just like clicking. So if you having trouble getting coming up with ideas and being creative, start investing in yourself.
And I like that you said that, because you ask yourself, people ask, well, where do ideas come from? Ideas come from different perspectives. It might just, if you just surrounding yourself around the same group of people, what they talk about, what they do, then those are where your ideas are coming from. But they start getting different perspectives on things. When you started reading those books, when you started listening to those seminars, going to those seminars, when you start listening to those audios, like you start hearing different people, different perspectives, and you just start, they all might add it up to a certain idea. I heard him say this, and I was reading a book and he said this. That all came together and created a whole new idea, and you like, man, that makes sense. I'm going to try this. But this came from you investing in yourself. You invest in yourself. You added knowledge. You added information. You added more different perspectives. It's hard to come up with ideas when you only got your own personal perspective. You can come up with limited amount of ideas from your own experience and your own perspective. But if I listen to your experience and I seen your results, and I listen to his experience, I seen his, and I listen, I'm reading, I'm learning. These are giving me different. Now I'm adding different things, and these are where certain ideas come from, because I'm adding a collectiveness of other people's ideas. I took his idea, and I could create my own idea. It'll spark to you, know. But it started with investing in yourself.
Investing in yourself. It's like playing the game without the cheat codes. See, the knowledge that you gain from these books and these programs, like, these are people
who've done it.
They done it, and they're sharing how they did it. They're basically sharing the cheat codes, and like when you start. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to act on their idea of what they're doing. It's just
perspective.
It's their perspective, and then it's like, okay, all right, what knowledge did you obtain to develop that idea? Okay, so basically you saying the knowledge that you obtained was to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, cool. So you go and you grab that knowledge. That's another cheat code. So you playing the game. Now you got this cheat code. Now you got. You go read this other book, and they drop some gems. Like, oh, okay, that's kind of like the same thing he was saying. Okay, so I need to try those to develop my idea, my own creative idea, what I have. Right. So, and they just, and when I read a book, I go through a book, and I'm like, I skip over a lot of the fluff. I'm like,
some people got to drag a book out just to make it a book.
Right. So I'm looking at, I dive into it. I'm like, all right, where are the gems at? I'm looking for the gems in the book.
What are you trying to teach me? What's your main reason for writing this book?
Give me some of that. Oh, shit. I'm looking for that. Oh, shit. Write that down.
I highlight them through. When I'm reading, I highlight them important parts so I can come back to them.
And even going to because you go to a lot of these things, it feel like that everybody just repeating the same shit. Thing. But in that process that you go through, just look for the gems. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I look for. I look for it if I'm looking at a podcast, if I'm reading a book, if I'm at a seminar, if I'm paying for a program, I'm just looking for the gems. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the same thing. Like when we came on, for this podcast, how we did, these are our perspectives. People listening in on our perspectives and hearing our perspectives, you pinpoint what exactly is a gem that I feel like I can apply to my life. What have I been struggling with? And then they said something, they touched on something. Not saying you got to take the whole podcast and listen to it and say, this is exactly right, but what works for me? Hearing a different perspective. Because you might not have thought about it this way. You might not have looked at it from this manner. But if you grabbed a gem from it, then you apply it to your life, or you apply it to other things that you added with it, that could create you another idea or give you that motivation and inspiration to act on the idea.